What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 27 of the Lured Up Creator Series, the podcast bringing your favorite content creators to talk about their work, process, and the game that brings it all together, Pokemon Go. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Ken Pescatore, and this week I'm excited to be joined by Lewis and Chris from the Purified Podcast. Guys, what's up? Hi, welcome.
Oh my goodness, welcome. More than welcome. Thank you for having us, Ken. Dude,
hell yeah.
It's amazing to think that I'm finally in this point because I've been following you for such a long time. So
that's awesome, man, and I'm excited to have both of you on. And Lewis, I was able to meet you at GoFest when real life events were a thing, so that was really cool, and we've stayed in touch. And then you have content, and now you're here, and I love it. And I think that's the the absolute coolest thing. And then getting to meet Chris through the show was really cool. So Chris,
yes,
how
sir.
are you, man? What's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
Doing awesome. Definitely looking forward to meeting people in the future.
I know, dude. I miss like live events. I miss so freaking much. It's like, yeah, it's whenever I talk to anyone about this game, it's like that. It always comes up. It's like you can't not talk about it. Like, it has to become a thing because everyone is just yearning for that. But anyway, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself? Let us know where you're from. Tell us a little bit about the Purified Podcast, and we'll get into your content.
yeah, so my name is Luis, as Ken has mentioned. I also go by different many alibis on the internet. I go by Pure Lighter on Twitch and also Takuson in YouTube because for some reason I can't decide what to go for. But yes, I've been a small streamer for a couple of years. I think I really started doing content in 2017, and I worked through a lot of different things. I mean, I wanted to always do something that I always been passionate about. I started with anime stuff back in the day. Then I moved on to a little bit of gaming. I was able to get some work with my Switch or Pokemon stuff little by little there. So I always wanted to at least show a little bit of Pokemon Go in my channels. And at one point, I wanted to dip into the video content creation, which was fine, but then timing was like the worst because by the time I get one video out, 300 new news came out.
You have to be fast, especially when you're talking about Pokemon. You have to be fast, otherwise you're old hat. You're old news at that point.
Yeah. By the time I get one video out, the next raid is already out or something like that. So at one point I stopped doing that and focused on streaming because streaming was something that I knew I can do live and then on the moment kind of thing. So if anything comes out, anything like that, I was just like on top of it whenever I could, because work is work and game is a game, even though this game is too addicting at one point, but still.
We don't talk about that.
But yeah, I'm just always a small streamer out there, but always wanted to grind it out and, meet people out there that love the same things that I do.
That's awesome. And Chris, what about you, man? How did this come about for you?
Hey, I am Chris. You may also know me as Pokemon Trigger Please on Twitch. We usually always stream on Pure Lighter's stream, and it's been awesome. I started getting into the Pokemon Go extravagance. I wanted to post some of my eggs hatching and stuff on YouTube a while ago. So as soon as Pure Lighter offered to have me on his show, I was like, dude, I want to talk about Pokemon Go for hours.
Yes.
Let's do it. It's going to be fun.
Oh, that's so it was literally just like that. Like, how did you come across? Like, how did you meet? Like, I always loved finding out like how people, especially when they work together remotely, like how they connect. Like, what's the story here?
So, Chris and I, we started playing Pokemon Go since the very beginning. I mean, since day one here in the United States, nothing APK mine over there in Australia because, that will mess up your phone if you don't do it right back then. But Chris and I, we started normally, and then I think it was around the time PvP came out in Pokemon Go where we first met. It was because we actually hosted in our community Discord the very first Boulder Cup. And Chris and I, we we organized it as much as we could because we also had other people that wanted to do it. And then from then on, we just met up more and more times, especially because we were running through the entire South Arena tournaments every single month. And, we were trying to be the very best against like the 6 or 8 people that we were always trying to get through it. And then, after that, we worked into getting, luckily, a group of us from our own Discord went to GoFest together. Chris went with his girlfriend, and we actually... we all met up there. We all have fun. I stranded every now and then to go and see all the creators while Chris did his own thing. So from then on, when I wanted to work on the podcast, when I finally got around to getting it, I always wanted to see if I could get somebody who knew about Pokemon Go and was addicted as much as I was. So I talked to Chris about it, and then, just like he said, when he heard that, I was just like, off to the races. Let's do it. Let's try doing it.
Nice. All right, that's awesome. I mean, it's, I pretty much anyone that I talk about podcasting with, and I'm definitely an advocate for the format, but, I always say it's like you have to have passion so you have stuff to talk about in a way that other people are going to want to hear it. It's like, then I hear from people like, oh, well, I like... Matchbox cars, and it's not really exciting to talk about Matchbox cars for an hour. And it's like, no, dude, it is, as long as you have passion and honesty behind it. So it's like, that's one of the beauties of Pokemon, is how incredibly passionate people are in this community about it. And sometimes, you talk to someone about it and you're like, yeah, this person can go. If you put a mic in front of this person and they're going to start talking.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's really cool to hear. How did you actually start getting into Pokemon? Like, how long have you been involved with Pokemon as a player? Like, was Pokemon Go your intro to the franchise, or have you been into the franchise prior to Go?
I'll let Chris go first. Yeah.
Thank you. Personally, I started when I was about, I want to say 10, and I started with Pokemon Sapphire. My dad had just gotten me it, I want to say for Christmas, with a Game Boy Advance Color.
Nice.
And my sister and I were kind of challenging each other, and I had so much fun with Pokemon Sapphire. I had to get the other games, so I kept running through, eventually got a DS, and then I found out that they were making more games that I thought you needed a 3DS to play. So I told myself I'm not going to put money into it, so I stopped for a few years. And then Pokemon Go came out.
The great equalizer. It's like, that's it. I
said, I gotta go in. It's time to come back. Yeah. So it's all old news now. I'm back better than ever. It's been awesome. I definitely love Pokemon Go. It's been a really good way to stay in touch with friends, I would say. I think a lot of people don't stay in touch with people they know, and sure. Getting in touch with them for raids and everything is even as little as that is, it's still a good way to keep in touch. So I love it.
Nice. Awesome. Luis, what about you?
I started not with the very first with the first generation, but with Pokemon Yellow. So okay. I started with that. I remember when it came to my country, because I'm from Peru. I remember I think they were able to bring it in a diskette. If anybody out there remembers what a diskette is, it was like a little square, thing they hold maybe less than a gigabyte or something. Anyways, I remember getting through that, and then I remember that the very first memory that I had with that game was trying to beat Brock with Pikachu at level 25 with only using quick attacks. Nah. So, trust me, I wasn't a very smart kid with Pokemon that time. But from then on, I moved on through all the series. Actually, even though I wasn't super passionate about Pokemon, I did collect a few of the things, especially the main series games, where I got Pokemon Silver with the Game Boy Color. I got Pokemon Sapphire and then Emerald with a Game Boy Advance SP, which is technically the second generation of Game Boy. Then, of course, I moved on through the DS, 3DS, Switch, and all of that. But for some reason, I always can stay consistently with the main series. So I kind of knew where Pokemon was going, but I never really put so much into the fandom until Pokemon Go came out.
Right.
And then Pokemon Go just exploded the entire thing again. Like, everybody was playing it. Everybody was talking about it. I knew my knowledge, but I wasn't like super into it, but still knew what Pokemon there was, especially Generation 1 at the time. And even through the rough patches that Pokemon Go had at the beginning, from the very first month or very 6 months and things, I think that really the one thing that kept me going, aside from probably the Pokemon Go Plus, because that I would use when I was at work every single day.
Nice.
It was just the community and the people that I saw on YouTube. You know, the big dogs like, you know, Mystic 7, Reversal, Zoe 2 and things like that. Trainer tips, you know.
Yes, sir.
So by going through that, I kept myself into the game, into Pokemon Go, where as from then on, I was just like, yeah, I'm dipped into the addiction here. So let me just go in and continue.
You know, it's amazing how like from a content perspective, of course you have the routine of playing the game. You're going to play every day. You're going to turn it on. You're going to constantly check it at any free moment. You're going to do it. Even if you're at work and you can only engage with the Go Plus, you're going to make sure that you are engaged with the Go Plus, whatever it may be. But the content, like especially when the game first launched, the content to me, like trainer tips videos, were literally part of my like daily routine. Like I knew when his uploads hit. You know, he was on the West Coast, so it was perfect. The videos would come out 3 o'clock, whatever it was. So by the time I was home from work, I could, unwind, sit on the couch and like, boom. It was like, that was my routine. Like I watched those videos like every single day when he was doing daily content. It was amazing. So it is cool how Pokemon Go changes the way a lot of people interact with the franchise at large, because then it's like, now you're not only playing the game and, my freaking screen time report is like 19 hours a day. I mean, it's like it's on all the time. And then I'm watching the content and it's like I'm looking around and there's freaking toys and plushes and like it's just like I'm so immersed in the franchise, and Pokemon Go makes that a reality because you're out and about and you're with the community and like I freaking love that. That's like one of my favorite things about this game. So it's cool to kind of hear from both of you that it was like, a way to stay in touch with people, a way to connect with people. I think that's
or even meet so many new people that you didn't think that you would meet in your lifetime. I don't think I would have ever met Chris unless probably maybe a one-time chance besides Pokemon Go, because all the people that I have met through the game throughout the years have been incredible, and everybody, even though there has been some up and downs, everybody has always been part of the community.
Yeah, no, it's by far it's the best part. And as a creator, I get to kind of live that twice. I get to live it from the angle of like, oh, there's still people that I'm going to geek out about and get excited to hang out with and all that kind of stuff. But then at the same time, I get to, build and support a community myself. And it's like that whole dynamic is just so unique to Pokemon Go that, of course you're going to see online communities for games, whatever the game may be. It could be Minecraft, it could be anything. But because Pokemon Go is real, it just changes everything. But what about the play style itself? Like how do both you actually enjoy playing the game? Like what's the way that you like to connect with Pokemon Go? Not when you're creating, but when you're just playing. What's your favorite?
I used to grind like crazy at the beginning of the game. I used to stay up pretty much all night down by the rivers here. And I would just stay at the Pokestops. People would always have a lure going. And I would just be catching away.
Nice.
Mostly so I'd have Pokemon to throw in gyms. Vaporeon was like OP in the OG days.
Dude, you got to put the 10 stack of Blissey bubble strap.
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
You'd be surprised, but Ken does do that every single day.
No, dude, I always have Blissey in gyms. They've got, I have my phone in front of me right now, but I literally just, was in the game before we recorded, and I had to revive like 9 Blissey. I was like, dude, they all got wiped out like at the same time. I go, that's messed up. But people,
I like to put my slackings to work, make them useful.
Oh my god!
I only have 2. I've got 2 remaining. I had 14 this morning, I think. So from 14 down to 2, but yeah, I might do a little. I might do a little night run and drop off some of my girls.
For me, I always play the game just as intended. I mean, I catch Pokemons, I spin the stops, I do everything that requires me to do a daily streak, even my buddy. When that came out, I mean, that's just another grind of itself. I do the simple things. I mean, because of the Gold Plus, like letting me live life a little bit more normally, I usually run that in the background like almost every single day, especially at work because I'm at work 99% of the time anyways. But whenever I just use the Gold Plus, I reconnect it every day, and then I check my game, and then all of a sudden I'm hatching eggs, or I catch a shiny out of nowhere, maybe an Axew, a Gold Plus out of nowhere.
Hold on. An Axew out of nowhere. Where are these Axew? Because, it's April 3rd, 2021, and I still do not have an Axew. Not a single one.
Have you been Go Plussing? That is the question.
Yeah, exactly. I have been, dude. My Pokeball Plus is ragged as hell right now. The thing looks like it's about to die. Oh.
No, trust me. That was actually a surprise when I saw that, because you never know what you find when you're going to Go Plus, but then all of a sudden you see like this rare spawn. Sometimes you even see a third evolution spawn. Like a Sam or a Blastoise in your inventory, and you're like, how did I even catch that?
Right.
So I because I run that almost all the time, I never get bored of the game. I open it when I go on my own regular restocking. I run it, I see what's out there. I try to see if maybe there's something that I need specifically, or even just catching or doing research. Like I try to run the game as much as possible. I mean, I love the shiny hunting and I love the raiding. But every now and then, I just love anything that just comes up, and yeah, I just love the game almost every single episode.
Yeah, and what about PvP? I know you all have some roots there. Like, what's your connection with the PvP side of things?
I know Pure Lighter used to be one of the big dogs locally. I've sort of taken his reign. His reigns.
Sort of, yeah. No, he's taking his reign around,
but he still competes well when he does join the tournaments. I'm pretty much the highest ranked Sylph local within 50 miles.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm a little bit of a.
We're not talking also. We're not talking to
we could
the
say
champion Swedish Chief.
Things are getting pretty serious.
Hey, it's okay. We're 50 miles from Speediest Chief, so yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, the Sylph champion, it's like as long as we're underneath his reign, so we'll be fine.
Nice. All right, well, Luis, you're still competing though. Like, I mean, when I listen to the show, I know you guys dig in, so it's like, what I guess from a content perspective, what's the approach as well?
Well, I do PvP as much as I can in many different ways. I do the Go Battle League when I can, not to grind it to be the very best all the way to Legends or something like that, but I like to use the Pokemons that I love every now and then and work through that. I have watched how to, use the meta Pokemons, the Azumarill, the new addition Talonflame into it and things like that. So, but because of Silph Arena, that I was able to develop that sense of competition that I knew that I could use once the blind battles came around. I stopped doing Silph Arena for quite a while already after season 1, and mostly because of the pandemic. I wanted to focus on the GBL aspect for a little bit, so I've been grinding that more so and just doing what I can to try to see if I can ever get to Legends or not. But we follow the PvP scene a little bit closely for the podcast to make sure that we are getting informed, getting what's the changes out there. And since Chris and I are in two different aspects of it, even though we do run both GBL and Silph Arena every now and then, we try to convert that to our experiences to the podcast itself.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit to the show. Tell us about the show, but, moreover, I think what's pretty unique here is the fact that you do it live on Twitch, and that's kind of what my draw was to the show initially, because especially from podcasting, it's typically produced content, so it's not something that's recorded and broadcast live. So that was definitely a unique spin. What was the decision like when you decided to create this show and then ultimately do it live on Twitch?
Well, I had two specific reasons why I wanted to do it live. Number one, and I'm sure that you love to hear this, Ken, I hate editing.
Hell yeah.
I hate editing to the life of me when it comes to it, because I dipped into it and I know how it works. But the amount of hours you get to do to work on one video, on one thing, on one content part of it is so freaking much. I just don't understand how so many people can do it, especially with the time allowed. I need my 8 hours, 6 hours of sleep every day. Sorry.
more time editing than actually recording it.
Oh no, dude, I sometimes, like, if I'm really digging in, I'll do 25 to 30 minutes of editing for every 10 minutes of audio.
Oh my God.
It's like,
Spicy.
so with an hour long, it could be a 5-hour edit, you know what I mean, on a 1 hour show. It's like, it can be brutal.
That was the biggest part when it comes down to trying to get a live feedback on things. But at the same time, because I had so much knowledge on the live aspect, I've been trying to do live streaming since I really loved it, and having the people just react when they come in and they say, oh, hey, you have this or you have that. That's fine when it comes to the podcast. We try to include that into our daily routines, because it's the people out there that are listening to us. We want to make sure that we include them too. And I really like that about both Twitch or any live streaming platforms, is that once somebody's there, if they're listening to you, they know they will respond. So I always love that aspect, and I ran with it. I mean, if that's what I can come up with, then that's what I'm gonna be using as my main source of Pokemon Go content.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, because it's definitely unique, and that's the one thing that I would always desire from the Lured Up experience, was like, oh man, if the community was here with us right now and can kind of riff back and forth. Not only would the show probably turn into like a 4-hour show, but it's like I would that just seems so cool, like, to be able to do that. We're gonna be upgrading our equipment pretty soon to allow for people to call in live.
Oh.
So it's like, once we do that, we'll be able to have that experience a little bit. Get like a drunk Terry Wolf to call in live or something like that. Would be absolutely freaking hilarious. But what else is going on over on your Twitch? Because again, you have your multiple aliases between Pure Lighter and all that stuff. Like, so I know that I definitely see you doing Sword and Shield a lot.
Yes, so shiny hunting in the main series game is probably the biggest thing that I've been doing on my Twitch channel for quite a while already. I tried doing a little bit of multi-streaming to make sure that I can have some content in both channels at one point. But once you get to a point in Twitch where you have a lot more rule sets, I kind of moved over and just stayed on Twitch, even though for some reason I exploded in YouTube over me watching the Pokemon home screen crash 20,000 times. And people came in to watch on my YouTube channel for no apparent reason. I guess I hit the YouTube algorithm at the time, and people were just clicking on trying to get their shiny Zero Aura into the main series games. And everybody just came into my live stream. I was with Chris. Chris was there, and just I don't know. It was wild. It was the wildest nights probably in my history of streaming or doing any content for anything. So I kind of left that alone for a little bit. I left it at the subscriber count that I reached for the YouTube, and then moved over to Twitch, just because Twitch for some reason is a lot more friendly when it comes to streaming, and it rewards the people watching it a lot more. So I move over there, and maybe hopefully I'll return to YouTube with a little more video editing if I ever get to that point.
Nice. And for a first time listener, if no one's ever heard, experienced your show, watched your show, or heard your show in audio format, what can they expect from any given episode? Is there a typical vibe or kind of feeling that you want to get across in your show?
Really, it's all about just welcome them in as much as possible. And in all honesty, as long as we can show them that we know about the game, I hope that they can stay in and just listen to it, because for me, that's everything that I want. I just want somebody to listen to me rant for an hour and a half or maybe 3 hours on other different things, so.
Yeah, I personally try to be like fun and wild with it. Just get people the content to watch, Well,
I think that's what's awesome, because it's like I'll typically listen in an audio format, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't get to experience it all on visual, and then sometimes I'll watch it visually and I'm like, oh my god, I've been missing it's so much different, when you get to experience it like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, no, that's really cool. So it's how much of the show is like let's just call it the news versus experience stuff, because it's like covering the weekly blog, covering the in-game events versus like talking about your experiences as a trainer or playing or PvP strategy. Like, how does the content mix actually roll out in your show?
So we worked on Sundays mostly. We do the live stream on Sundays, so we have a pretty idea of how the week went for a lot of things. And yes, we will miss a specific news that come out one day and for a weekend. Like, thank you, Niantic, for Rayquaza for a weekend. So we try to cover everything in that experience alone. So if the weeks it's running with an event, we have more of the experience of the event closely. If we have the news right before that and then we're able to cover it, at least we have some decency of what to expect and what to show to the player. In the live format, since we have the game running while we're speaking, we sometimes have like the smallest appearances of the event spawns or maybe a raid here and there. So we kind of show that at least we know what we're talking about when we hit record and we start recording for the podcast. And then after that, if we have any more news from the week itself into the next week, we can cover that up. And then by the time we get to the next one, we just talk and rant about what was good or bad depending on the event,
Nice. And how does the live format? And I'm so intrigued by the live thing. Like, how does the live format influence the pacing of the show? Influence how you get through the news or how you get through your discussion on a certain topic, because you're live, because there's a chat going, and because you're kind of, the clock is actually running in real time. Like, how does that impact like how you cover the game? It's such a foreign thing to me because I don't do it like that. So it's just like, I'm just so curious of how that live format really kind of drives the pace of the show as you're recording.
Well, we always try to at least keep it under an hour when we go live on Sundays. Sometimes we have enough to talk about. Sometimes we don't have enough to talk about, and we stretch it out to the point where we're like, okay, so I'm trying, like when Chris is talking about something that I ask him to talk, I try to think, okay, hold on, I have only 10 minutes and we're about to hit the news, and we're like, oh no, hold on, I got too many things to talk about here. So I try to improvise a little bit when it comes to the pacing, and as long as we hit most of our points between the news, the recaps, and our PvP section, get good, get wrecked, we try to make sure that everything is spaced out. We do leave the PvP at the end because I feel like a lot of people want to have separate news about that, since there's always something to do in Pokemon Go. There's always something that we're going to cover eventually. So the PvP section is a little bit more of our experiences with the competitive scene. So we like doing that a little bit more on the side. And once we get to it, if we have the time to talk about it though, because there are times where we're like, okay, hold on, we got 5 minutes. Let's speed through this. If not, we'll run over another 5 minutes and we'll probably be fine after that. So I don't know. It's really improvising, especially since you're live. We don't have a lot of time to think, okay, on the fly, let's see if we can rant about this for another 5 minutes or something like that. So
sometimes puts us at a jumble where we're fighting over, do we have enough to say? Do we not have enough to say? And in a live format, when you have 15 minutes of leeway, you gotta find that sweet spot of something to talk about, but not ramble on about. So it's tricky.
I see that like when you're like, let's say you're not doing a podcast, but you're just doing video game coverage or video game play. Like, so you're doing a let's play or whatever it is. You're playing the game. You have you got to talk. You have to constantly be doing
Can't
that.
just sit there. No.
So it's like there's some creators that I'll watch where it's like the energy levels are so incredible and they're just talking nonstop that like my brain turns into like lava and like oozes out of my ears. My brain melts because it's just like the energy level. Like I watch A Drive and it's just like 5 minutes and I'm like, my fucking head is about to explode because it's just
or even Mystic 7.
Dude, it's like and dude, he's like that in real life. It's like just energy. It's like I'm an old man, so it's like I don't know if it's a youthful thing or what, but like some of these people have insane energy, and it's like, when you're in the live format, it's like there's no downtime. You got to fill air. It's like anytime you're not talking, that's dead air. So it's like that's why I was so so interested in figuring out like how that vibe kind of applies to a structured show, but still in the live format. So that's
I guess
that's
one thing that I know I can do to cover some downtime or maybe to alleviate some of the time that we work on is through the game itself. Since we have the game live on it, let's say we were talking about PvP, maybe use this Pokemon in Go Battle League or something. I'll say, hey, Chris, let's go ahead and just battle real quick and let's show on the live format how we can use this, and then that will run a little bit on time with a little bit commentary in between if we can. But when you're live, sometimes you don't think that you're live if you want to put it in other formats, and then you just ramble on, okay, I lost this Pokemon and now I'm gonna be using this and things like that. But at the same time, since we have remote raiding, people also say, I will say, oh, I got invited to this raid. Let me go ahead and do it while I talk about this and things like that. So it's all about just improvising with the little bit of time left. And I've always been good at that. It's just, okay, so what can I say to make this better at the best possible time? And then just like, let's run with that for a little bit longer. And then we have a podcast. We have a show somewhere, somehow, So
with the game running live, I think this can kind of like flow us into the next thing I wanted to talk about was the ups and downs that the game has seen mechanically, right? So the game doesn't always work, especially from a PvP perspective. So I'm definitely interested to see how that impacts. I mean, I guess that could make for some good content, but like, I've watched PvP content before and like the game just takes a shit, and it just doesn't want to work. GBL, the lag is brutal, you know what I mean? And sometimes that can be comically funny, even though you're seeing the creator like have a complete meltdown. But when you're doing a produced show and you could be talking about something you're demonstrating in the game and the game may not function, like how does that kind of impact what you're doing in the live format?
When it comes to just simple downs and ups of the game, at least we're showing how the game works. And if something just like doesn't work, like let's say I'm fast catching on a Pokemon and my screen goes white, I'm like, okay, let me restart this and let's try this again, I guess. Or Go Battle League, just as you said, the lag is real. And it's not cheating, it's just real for some reason. It's, I guess, any games can come with hiccups. And that's how we can really show it live in the production scene, because at least we know that you're not the only one out there experiencing this, but then other people will be out there saying, oh, something happened like this. I had a talk with Pope Dave on Twitter the other day. He was saying, oh, I won this match, but it counted as a loss. So I tried to communicate. It's like, was this something that maybe was a tie or something? And no, and he said that it was a complete win, but they gave him a loss. So I was like, oh yeah, classic GBL at this point. It's like he's always gonna fucked up something, So
and it's weird because this game can fail in all these funky ways. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times the stuff is you can't reproduce it, and it's like I hope you got a screenshot or I hope you got a recording, because a lot of times you can never reproduce it. Now that there's some issues. Like I still get the issue frequently of like the map not loading properly, where the Pokestop or the gym is there. I can interact with it with my Go Plus, but I can't visually see it. I'm seeing a blank map.
Same.
And I get that a lot when I'm like streaming music. So if I have like Amazon Music open in the background playing music and I go between Amazon Music and then back to the game, that's when this happens. So it's like I'm constantly trying to troubleshoot and provide feedback and all that stuff up to Niantic of like, hey, this is what I'm noticing, and the game is still not functioning. Like at one point that was on their known issues page and it was resolved, and then like they moved it to unresolved because it was still happening. And it's like I try to look at it from from a constructive perspective, but sometimes like I love to see like weird ass glitches, like the avatar head is really big or the Pokemon is like super small on the screen. Like I love that shit. Like I don't know. I know no one wants to see the game broken, but it's just funny as hell to me. So I love that shit.
I think Chris had a funny picture the other day where his Lickitung was literally lying down with his butt sticking out.
Yes.
I got that mini Alolan Raichu.
Nice.
I think of the glitches and mishaps as kind of like Niantic whack-a-mole. They fix a problem, another one comes up. But you can't pretend like things don't happen. You got to show it off, show how to prevent it from happening, how to avoid it. Oh yeah, don't join GBL right now. This is a known issue. Watch out.
Right.
Yeah,
stuff like
or when the content creators out there like GoCast or anything, they say, don't download this update right now. Your game will freeze up, or you're not gonna load in, or something like that. And I'm like, let me download this. Let me try what I got here. They did that when the same issue that you had when the nothing was showing up for me, and then I had to restart literally 20,000 times just to get one Pokestop to load up in the map. I saw it being half resolved, and then I just every time I go from one area to the other, because I have to drive so many places to do the things that I want to do for this game, I always like lose the Pokestops and everything, and then I reload again, and then it's fine for the next 20-30 minutes until I run into another issue or something like that. But when I'm grinding in one spot, everything is fine as long as the game is running at all times. Luckily, my phone is pretty strong, so I know if I move from Discord to something else, it doesn't cause me to crash so much. But there's still those moments where we're like, okay, let me just check this to make sure that the raid is going. Then I don't see anybody in the lobby for the raid, so I'm like, okay, who's in, who's not?
Oh, dude, that I get that all the time too. Or like, I'll do 2 raids back to back, and then when I join the second raid, I'm seeing the people from my first lobby, and it's like, dude, I know. It's like this person's not here. It's like,
no, that was like confused me the most at first. At one point, I was like, wait, I just raided with them. I didn't know they were raiding with them too. I'm like, what?
So the community is very outspoken about this shit. Like they will let us know and let everyone know that they're unhappy with the game or unhappy with how things are happening or not happening.
Oh yeah.
What's your approach to kind of being, critical of Niantic, and how do you kind of balance that with being a voice for the community and acknowledging the community when, they're kind of letting Niantic have it? Because it's pretty common for people to air that shit out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that in the community for sure. For myself, I want to say that, they are running a live game 24/7. It's all around the world. No matter what you do, there's always something that they're doing. So I want to say that it's always been hard for Niantic to fix issues right in there. And that's why I always wait for the updates, because I know that's where most, if anything, they will fix at the time of, or, another new glitch at that point. I always want to be spokeful to Niantic. It's like, hey, this is what's happening. If I'm being unfairly, I don't want to say targeted. I want to say more like, if this happens a lot of times, I do voice my opinion and say, hey, Niantic, something's going on here. Why is this doing this? Maybe I lost a raid pass somewhere, or I lost this Pokemon with not in the wild because the game didn't load. Things like that. But I'm never like super critical, because I know they want to work on it. It's just that since it's such a big thing to do it on the spot or live, it's always something that I always tell them, hey, there's always somebody out there that says they're listening, they're just not reacting as fast as they should.
I want this yesterday, Niantic. Like, what the hell?
And I'm never like the type of guy who gets angry about anything, only when it really matters. But I'm always kind of like the soft guy, say, not like the people out there that really voice their opinion. And I follow a lot of people out there. I stay quiet when I need to be quiet, but when I want to actually tell what I gotta tell, I go ahead and say it because that's what's on my mind.
Whenever Niantic does something good, we like to pat them on the back too, give them a little hashtag thank you Niantic.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, for sure. No,
Yeah.
I think that's important too, to show the community that you do have some balance. And, it's like I was with the Incense podcast guys, I was busting their chops so bad because they like rag on Niantic so bad, like so hard.
Whoa.
Like,
I can't wait to
they
see
are
that.
openly like, they go for it, but it's like they do it in this hilarious, like, comedic way, but they don't pull any punches. Like, it's really funny. And it's like, I think that's why I'm okay with it, because it's so funny. But it's like, dude, that's fucked up. And then, like, they're like, I know. It's like, they don't care. It's so funny. But it's always interesting to hear, like, how content creators kind of take the perspective of the community at the same time with holding true to their own values, but not alienating the community, because there's so many diverse thoughts and diverse perceptions of the game and how Niantic is run and all that stuff. It's always an interesting conversation when it comes to how content is covered. And I'd imagine that you could have people pop in and out of the live chat that are kind of on both sides of the fence or creating a debate. So that's got to be a cool dynamic to kind of be able to be like a mediator a little bit and hear both of those sides of the voice from the community.
There's been multiple times that we've had people in chat voice their opinions, then Pure Letter or I would give our opinion, alongside it or against it, see what they think. It's always cool to see in real time.
And there's always going to be two sides to the coin. There's always going to be the people that are extremely mad, no matter how much you do, you can't change their mind kind of people. And then there's people who can compromise and say, okay, maybe that's something that they'll work on in the future. I know a guy specifically that when he talks about everything that they need to work on in the raid system. Like, they need to fix the raid glitch. They need to fix the lobby glitch. They also have to fix the shadow hell bar. For some reason, it goes back up again, and then you gotta start using things like that. So I know that he's on board of that, and I do see a lot of that at the same thing on Twitter. But I always want to compromise with saying, okay, well, maybe just restart your game. Maybe it'll work a little bit better here and there. If it doesn't go on, then yeah, you can always talk about it. We can always, bash on Niantic, but there's still somebody out there that is listening, and everybody else, even the content creators, they want to be part of a good community, and I want to be on part of that too. Just voice my opinion. Don't be super critical to the point where I'm literally insulting them or something like that. Just, if you can run your game in a better pace, because if they haven't made money with me, they have made the money with everybody else. So I know that they have the money to do it. They're working always through some hoops and loops and things like that.
Are you two spenders in the game? Do you buy in?
Yes.
Raids all day.
Yes. You probably don't want to see my bill for Rayquaza in the weekend before.
Oh, believe me, man. I didn't go too bad, man. I did like 40 Rayquaza, so it was like that wasn't bad. But like, I was talking to Reversal. He said he did 400. It's like, dude.
It's like having the game all day. Like, I mean, that's what I did technically. I ran the game all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I was looking for the Hundo or the Shando if I ever get that. But at one point I realized I was getting enough extra large candies for Rayquaza. So I was like, you know what? Let me go for it. Let me see if I can actually get enough extra large candies in one weekend for one legendary Pokemon that everybody wants.
Yeah, that's I think Reversal said he hit the notification cap. Like you're allowed an X amount of notifications, and then after that you don't see anything. Your raid bar, the raid bar won't turn orange. You won't get any of the drop down banners. Like, you're pretty much tapped out at that point from playing with the outside world. So it's very, very unique situation. But yeah, no, it's always fun to talk about spending in this game, because it's like, for many, it's a taboo subject. And it's like, why? It's like, it's like, you could say, oh man, I really love this restaurant. It's like, well, clearly I know you're spending money on buying the food. Like, it's okay to talk about spending money. Like, it's all right. Yeah. It's like some people, like, they clam up and they're like, oh, I'm like a closet $10 a week spender. It's like, dude, it's fine.
I'm free to play. How'd you get here? Oh, you drove? No, you're not free to play.
I like that.
Yeah, that's like, I only play on foot.
That's how I justify it. I'm spending all my money on remote raid passes instead of gas now.
There you go. So you're doing the favor to the environment. You're being environmentally,
yes, sir.
Aware of your carbon footprint and reducing that by staying home and doing raids.
Well, if we're talking free to play, I know there's a lot of people that literally haven't spent a dime in the game, not even a penny into it, and they just do everything through their events, through the free daily passes, the free remote raid passes, everything like that, but. They're not gonna have all the greatest thing. They just play the game, and they're still like they're probably already level 50 at this point because they grind the games every single day, every single minute of the day.
No, I love that. I love when free to play players are able to hang like that and still get gold and platinum medals and still hit the high XP tiers and all that stuff. It's like, hell yeah, that's freaking amazing. Yeah. I mean, I'm like a cruiser. I'm like a cool, all right, I'll spend $20 a week every week. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much where I'm at with things. And then it's like, Go Fest weekend, I'll drop a hundo or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's like, other than that, it's like, all right, I'll drop $20 and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to buy one like adventure box and then I'll buy some remote raid passes. And then it's like, I end up blowing the whole fucking thing on raid passes. It's like, it just happens, and it's just like, all right, sure, I'll do this remote Dynamo raid. It's like, damn you for sending me this. Yes. It's like, I can't not do it. That's like, yes, I'll do it. Okay. I'll freaking Driftblim. All right, fine. Why not? Pelipper? Great. Awesome. I'll do it. I don't care. It's like, it's so bad.
You're making me do this.
Oh my god. I can always remember the time where I only started spending $10 because I wanted to have incubators for the game and I wanted to hatch the eggs. And I mean, I hatched some great stuff and I still do that. But then raid comes around and then I started spending $20 because I needed enough for the eggs and then enough for the raids. And then remote raiding came around, and then that increased to maybe $40 every 2 or maybe a week or so, depending on how it is. If I'm really wanting to raid like the most current legendary or something similar, I do spend my money. I mean, it is my money. I work for this money. Why can't I not spend it? It's like, let me do what I love to do.
I'm sitting on 80 green passes.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
I keep buying remote.
Oh my god,
it's stupid.
Yeah. No, I had a surplus for a long time. I think I'm down to like 15 or so. And it's like, I already told myself that on Wednesday next week I'm going to do raid hour. So it's like I could typically get in like 16, 17 raids in the hour. So I'll be blitzing through them. I'll do it all in person.
At least depending on the legendary or the Pokemon that I really want, I either go very hard or not at all. Like,
well, Rayquaza is like the prime example of how people will go bonkers when
yes,
there's a good boss.
Oh my god! Like the amount of raids that I did that day, and I didn't even think it was going to be that crazy until the event started because we thought that it was going to be a 50-50 chance with Thunderous at the time. And we were like, okay, maybe we won't see as many Rayquazas just because of how things is. No, they went full ham.
Dude,
Rayquaza.
I saw the blog post and I'm like, I'm going broke. That's it. That's it. I was just like, I'm fucked. There goes all my lunch money. Just got spent on a freaking
who needs food when you have Rayquazas?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So, but let me talk about a little bit more back to perspective here because I think that's always important when it comes to introducing like audiences to new creators is to see where they kind of stand on certain topics. And I always like talking about this, and that's kind of the pacing at which Niantic moves. There's always events. There's events nonstop. And the topic of burnout comes up a lot where, trainers might feel tired or exhausted and they're going from one event right to the next one. And, sometimes you might have a day off, but not always. It's like, what's your perspective on how the game calendar rolls out and, how the community is able to engage with that? And do you think that, the burnout and FOMO? Like, how does that all, kind of fit into your headspace about the way the game functions?
So I want to say, at least for me, if you haven't played Pokemon Go in 2016, you don't know what it means to not have events for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
It's just it's such a comparison to come to from what we had at the beginning to what we have now. And you either go 6 months with nothing to do and just wait for the biggest event, probably Go Fest or something, or, do something every week that it's going to keep you engaged with the game. And just, if you want to play it, I mean, yeah, play it. That's fine. Sometimes just run the Go Plus or something like that, or maybe do a raid here and there if you want to get a specific Pokemon. But, I always see it. If you want to actually play it, that's fine. And yes, I have felt the burnout a little bit where I'm just like, okay, hold on. I have raid hour today and bonus hour on Thursday, and then spotlight hour this day. And then another weekend we have community day or something like that. And like the week is already packed jam with stuff. But I always been the type of player who, when I can, I casually just play what I can. And if I can't make it to something, then I won't. It's like if I missed it, I missed it. There are times where if I want something specifically, I say, hey, Chris, here you go. Go ahead and take my account for maybe the first few hours of Community Day, and then just play that around. He played right on Community Day for me because I was stuck at work for half of the day or something. So if I want to compromise, I'll compromise and, do what I can to play the game. If I'm not, if I can't, then I can't do anything about it. It's like I'll miss it. So.
Chris, what about you, man? You ever feel burnt out on this event overload?
I want to say that Niantic is worried that we'll get bored of their game if they spend too much time without an event. I mean, in the old days, 2016, literally all we did was catch Pokemon to fill our Pokédex. That's all we did.
Right.
Which, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time. Personally, I'm definitely feeling a bit of burnout. I said at the beginning that I used to grind every single night for hours just staying up. Now I probably play maybe half as much. So don't get me wrong, I still play, but I do not hit the 50 kilometers a week. I hit the 25.
Okay.
So, I definitely still raid and stuff too.
We're both into the grind to level 50, so we gotta at least get to that point.
Yeah, I gotta get up there, man. Gotta
the
get up
XP,
there.
I'm 8 million away from the 176, so I'm close.
Yeah,
I'm in the home stretch.
Both Chris and I, we hit our cap of extra experience at level 47, so we've been grinding that out for quite a bit. I think we're almost done with our weeks for level 47 and our buddy system kind of thing. So it just depends on the experience at this point. And just
that Team Rocket
point,
one sucked.
That was brutal, man. And I refused to buy radars, so it was like I did it all. I did it all manually. It was like so much, but I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to work on that metal anyway. So I was like, I'm in. I enjoy the rockets.
Well, Chris actually has a more abundance of stops. If you ever been to the live stream and seen my phone, I only have 2 stops, maybe 3 in the distance. No gyms around my area. So Chris is able to grind out those stops. I usually do the balloons and whatever pops up on my way home from either the grind or work or anything like that. And Chris finished his medal for Team Go Rocket, and I'm nice. Like 300, maybe less than 300 away from those. So it's gonna take me a little bit to finish.
I had to get those PvP shadows, boy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Oh shit. All right. Well, as we kind of wind down here, I'm anxious to hear what your plans are for the show. I know COVID kind of made things a little bit crazy and influences, our ability to be outside and all that kind of stuff. But overall, what are some of the goals for the show? I mean, you want to continue this like long term? Are you looking to do any live stuff maybe on the road once we can, the world becomes a little bit more stabilized? Like what's on the plate?
So I'll do it if I can produce the content, and I know Chris will want to be part of that content as much as possible. I always tell Chris, if you can't make it to a day, we'll push it back or something like that. If we can't make it through the weeks or something like that, I'll do it as long as Chris wants to do it. I'll just say that. If Chris wants to do it, I'll continue doing the content that I want. But one of the things that I want to actually do is create that community that once we are able to hang out together as a group, maybe at GoFest, maybe at another event, I want to meet them. I want to meet that type of community that I build.
Yes,
I want to just, if I can say, hey, we'll do a meetup here and people are here. Oh, yeah, I'll be there too. And, we'll meet and bring things around and we'll just set it all up. I want to meet them. I want to be out there since I know people are listening to us. And hopefully at one point we'll get there either this year, maybe next year. I don't know. But I just want to get to that point.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, we'll definitely, we do the Lured Up Mareep Up with Pokemon Go Radio and GoCast. It's like, you guys gotta get in on that and do it like that, because I love bringing different communities together. And that's I saw you in 2019 there. I mean, that was an amazing time. That was some amazing memories.
That was one of the best
night.
Times I had playing the game, just going out there, meeting all of you, because in all honesty, Ken, I found your podcast when I was probably in one of the lowest times in life. I lost my jobs at one point and I was doing something else, so I was able to listen to podcasting and all those things. When I found your podcast and just rant and the ways that you speak about it, it's just like, I need to hear all of this man's voice every other day when I can, so I found you, I found the Gotta Watch Them All, and everything that you do, just it's amazing. So when you brought me to a point where I know I wish I could do, and that's where I really wanted to start podcasting, because aside from the editing, the other part of this is that at least I know I can make some content for the game that I love and still show it to people, even if it's just in audio form. And you show me that, Ken. So thank you very much.
No, dude, that's amazing. I love hearing that. And, especially with you being a podcaster, it's near and dear to my heart. And I think that we need to do whatever we can to reinforce the format and the community surrounding it, because it's definitely unique. And in live game stuff on Twitch or produce content on YouTube, it is very different from audio content. And being in the podcast space is a unique position to be in, and puts us in a really cool spot to be able to build that kind of community, to make them feel comfortable with us, where they feel like they're in the room when we're talking. They feel like they're hanging out. So then when that actually happens and you're able to meet these people in person and really hang out, it's like, dude, we're best friends. Like, it's like I just met you. I feel like I've listened to you talk for a year. It's like, the dynamic is super awesome. So that's really cool. But anyone you look forward to potentially collaborating with in the future? Anyone you'd like to get on your show or
Trader tips?
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
Yes, we do want to get
3 times. Need them.
Chris, are you fanboying a little bit?
Dude, I was a fanboy of Speediest Chief. We got him on 3 times. We can get trainer tips. Come on.
And hey, we got Speediest Chief when he was still just a normal player, and then now he's a champion. Look at the boy we go, man. It's like,
that's awesome. No, he's such a good guy too. I love him. It can't be coincidence. You directly influenced his PvP career, clearly.
Hey, I think he was on our podcast for the very first time, and then he won Continentals, and then he won Worlds. I'm like, we got the audio here. You guys want to listen to him before he was like a superstar at this point? So like, come on, guys.
Awesome guy.
Oh shit, that's awesome. That's super cool. No, man, that's one of the cool things about podcasting too, is how collaborative it is, and being able to work remotely and get a guest on remotely is huge for us. So that's super cool. That's super cool.
Definitely. And yes, definitely anybody who wants to listen and just be on the show, that's great. I'll have you in. We'll make a 10 minutes, interview, and then we'll go to the races. Let's go.
Nice. The door is open. The virtual door is open.
Yeah.
Set it up. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. I love talking to podcasters. It makes me so happy. I love it.
Thank you for having us.
No,
it's been awesome.
The one thing we didn't talk about was, the fact that, I brought your show into the Pokemon Professor Network as an extended show. And, shame on me for kind of slacking on that over the past couple months, but it's we're definitely proud to have you as part of the team. And I think you add a very unique element with what you're doing live. And so I definitely appreciate the fact that you bring that flavor to the network and you have a live element. It fills a gap that none of the other shows that are on the network provide. And I'm definitely appreciative of that. So thank you so much for being a part of that and coming along with us on the ride, because I think that it's important to have diverse content with diverse hosts and diverse perspectives, and you definitely add that. So I definitely appreciate that. But of course, links to everywhere that we can find you are going to be in the description. I'll put all the channel links and all that. Please make sure that you're giving the Purified Podcast all the love, support. Follow them, subscribe to them, multiple platforms, all that kind of stuff. Check them out on Twitch, on YouTube. Make sure you support everything that they're doing. And but please, both of you, why don't you let us know where we could find you? But of course, links will be in the description.
So, you can always find us live on Twitch on twitch.tv/purelighter. That is my channel. We go live on Sundays at 8 p.m. for the podcast. If you really want to talk Pokemon Go and rant about the game, we will love to have you and say hi in the chat. We try to comment as much as possible on those. I myself, of course, are in that channel itself. I'm also on YouTube /Otaku Zone. If you see a little weird anime face in there and in orange, you'll find me there for sure. We also have, hopefully, we'll have all the episodes in the playlist there, so if you can rewatch them and everything, if you don't want to go through Twitch, of course. And I also have my Twitter, which is PureLighterGo. I post everything that I do, both podcasting and everything in there, because I'm too lazy to do two different Twitters, so that's good enough for me. But yes, PureLighterGo and Twitter, and you never know. Well, maybe we'll do some other types of socials eventually.
You can find me, Chris, as Pokemon Trigger Please on Twitch and Twitter. Whenever I'm not streaming with Pure Lighter. Feel free to drop by and I'll point you in the right direction to the podcast.
Yeah, and you always find us always in Apple Podcasts and all the other podcast services fees. Our Heart Radio is one of them too, so go ahead and have a listen if you want to. We're close to 2,500 downloads, so that's great.
Yes, hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's amazing. That's definitely good news, and I think that our audiences definitely have some opportunity to cross over. And like Terry Wolf is like my barometer. He's like my gauge that I test other podcasts up against, and I know he loves your show, and it's like he tells me, and I'm like, all right, it's got the Terry Wolf seal of approval. That means a lot in the world of Pokemon Go podcast. He is my weatherman when it comes to.
It's like, so you see here
Pokemon Go podcast.
He's a funny
exactly.
guy. I like
exactly. Dude, he's fucking hilarious. But Luis, Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it so much. Definitely look forward to meeting you. Seeing real life people and hanging out in person. I think that will. Be a shit ton of fun. I need to come down to Florida so I can get some regionals.
I mean, if you want to see Heracross every other spawn, that's great, So
we'll hook you up.
Yeah, I need Heracross. I need Maractus. I got to get down there to get some stuff. I could use some Carnivines and stuff too. So, got to get my ass down there at some point. If not for anything else, just for the regionals. Maybe I'll pull a weekend warrior trip or something like that and just drive down, play for a couple hours, drive back, and knock it out in one weekend or some shit. But awesome. But dude, thank you again. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I just appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for giving us the chance.
Yeah, you got it. Everyone else, this has been an episode of the Lured Up Podcast Creator Series. Thank you so much for checking this out. Please check out luredup.com for everything that's going on with the show, PokemonProfessor.com for everything that's going on with the network, and keep in touch with us on our social media channels. Links will be on the website, and that's pretty much it. Keep training, trainers. We'll see everybody next week.